Hi, I'm Carmen, and this is a Miscellaneous Vegan where I share a little R&R recipes and reviews. And today we're going to be doing a Trini-Style Curried Chickpea. So stay tuned. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you like and subscribe for recipes and reviews in New York City and around the world, and for Coaching Mondays. So these are the ingredients you will need. Optional: cilantro. I use salted salt, but you can use whatever salt you have. Coconut oil, garbanzo beans, the star of the show, coconut milk, turmeric, cumin, fresh ginger. If you don't have fresh ginger, you can buy this store-bought ginger. I'm also using a store-bought garlic because I don't have the fresh garlic. You're going to also want to get onions. I forgot to add that, but you want to get a big onion, a large onion, and chop it up into little pieces. Put them in these little Ziploc bags and store them in the freezer because you're going to want to use them for your future recipes. And this will save you time from chopping onions every time you're going to cook. So let's get to the cooking. So you want to get a pan and start your fire and put it on medium heat. If you haven't seen my unboxing and review of these Extrema pans, non-toxic pans, make sure you check that out. I will link it below. So once your pan dries, you're going to add your coconut oil. I'm using about 1.5 tablespoons of coconut oil. Use as much as you want or as little as you desire. And the coconut oil does have a flavor, so that's why I'm using it for this particular recipe. And as you can see, my pot is ready. I'm adding here my minced ginger, because you can use the store-bought or fresh, and my garlic. I'm also adding, my onions. That's the onion and the garlic. The garlic I'm adding right now, sorry. And it's about 2 cloves of garlic, but I like garlic in my food. I like to taste it a little, so I'm adding more than the recipe calls, but use as little or as much as you want. So right here I'm sauteing the garlic, the onion, and the fresh ginger. And then you just want to saute it for a few minutes until it becomes fragrant. So while you're letting that cook a little bit, you can wash the dishes that you have in the sink and just prepare for your next part, which will be adding a little bit of ginger. I decided to add a little bit more ginger, but that's optional, okay? I know that it gave it a better flavor, so I added probably 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, but that's optional, okay? So let's move on to the next part, which is adding the spices. Here we have turmeric and cumin. It's already measured out. And don't worry if your turmeric gets stuck to your container, because I'm going to show you how we're going to get that out in a few minutes. So here we are. We're going to saute the spices because we want to bring out the flavor. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with Oreo. She's just having a day today, adding some more sound to my videos. But now that we have sauteed the vegetables and the seasoning, we're going to add the star of the show, which is the garbanzo beans. And in this recipe, I add 1 can and 1/4 because this is a fresh can. And then I had an extra can in the refrigerator because I was using it for my salads. So whatever was left over, I just added it. But this recipe, all you need is 1 can. I'm just adding whatever was left over in my refrigerator. But you're going to want to saute this for a little bit before you add your coconut milk. Another ingredient that I forgot to mention was water. So you're going to need like about 1/2 cup of water, but I'm using some of it to rinse off the container that I had my turmeric, and there you have it. I was able to get all the turmeric out of that, and now I'm adding the coconut milk. I'm adding an entire can of coconut milk. Now, if you know how to make fresh coconut milk, this would be better for you to do, especially if you're doing a detox. You want to use clean ingredients, so you want to make sure you use freshly made garbanzo beans, buying it raw organic and freshly made coconut milk. I know how to make all of them, but this is just like a quick recipe for those of you who just want, quick meal prep for the week. Adding a pinch of salt. You're going to want to add the salt at the end when you have added all your ingredients. It has simmered for a few minutes, and then you can decide how much more salt you want to add. Because, spices does give the food a flavor. Some of them have added salt depending on what type of seasonings you use. So you just want to be very careful. You don't want your food to be extremely salty. So I know that Trini food they do add Scotch bonnet, but I don't like to add it because it's way too spicy for me and for my family. So I'm just using this black peppercorn. So that is an option. Instead of using the Scotch bonnet, you can use the black peppercorn, and it does give it a nice little flavor. It doesn't make it as spicy. And as you can see, I'm adding a lot of it. I don't know how many of these turns I did. You can count it, pause the video, rewind. But it was a little, maybe 10 or 12. But I like the flavor that the black peppercorn gives it versus the black pepper. Now you're just going to allow the food to simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, but periodically making sure that you stir it so it won't stick to the bottom. Don't worry about it. You don't need to add cornstarch or anything like that. It's going to start thickening up because of the garbanzo beans. So give it its time, and by the time you know it, your garbanzo beans will be ready. You're going to want to taste it, and if it's good and ready, you just turn off the heat. And it's ready to serve. You can serve it with rice. You can serve it with quinoa, or since it's Trini, you can serve it with some fresh roti. And there you have it, guys. Trini-Style Curried Chickpeas. I hope you enjoy. And always remember, sweeties, be real, not perfect. Bye.